Everyone, just want to call our meeting to order, our Library Community Service June meeting, and may be observed live on the Salinas channel on YouTube, Zoom, or Comcast channel 25. And the Zoom webinar participation is available for members of the public. The Zoom webinar ID and link are available on the posted agenda on the city website. And now our Pledge of Allegiance. Please join us to stand. Flag to my right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Now, Leslie, could you take the roll?
Commissioner Larios Fabian. Commissioner Tafoya.
Present.
Commissioner Martinez.
Present.
Commissioner Cervantes.
Here.
Commissioner Gutierrez Garcia. Commissioner Castillo.
Present.
Commissioner Fong.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Now for our public comment procedures. If you wish to make a general public comment or comment on a specific agenda item, you are encouraged to attend a Library Community Service Commission meeting in person or email public comments received have been distributed to the commission will be entered into the record. For general public comment, we are now open for public comment on items that are on the agenda and that are in the City of Salinas subject matter jurisdiction. Comments on the agenda items should be held under the item until the items are reached. Public comments generally are limited to 2 minutes per speaker. I may further limit the time for public comments depending on the agenda schedule. We now have, is there any public comments? No? Okay. Now we go to the consent items for ID number 26-284, our minutes, and to our commissioners. Does someone have a motion to pass the minutes?
I have a small correction that I'd like to make to the minutes. So under page 2, under the director's report, in the second line, it says continuous work at Closter Park. I believe that should say Closter Park.
Okay. Noted that correction. Okay. So this is the minutes from April the 8th, 2026. Are any other comments from the commissioners? If not, we are now open for public comments on this item. Any comments on Zoom? Not. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of April 8th, 2026? Okay. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. I'm in a different meeting.
On the motion to approve the minutes of April 8th, 2026, please respond yes or no. Commissioner Tafoya.
Yes.
Commissioner Martinez.
Yes.
Commissioner Cervantes.
Yes.
Commissioner Castillo.
Yes.
Commissioner Fong.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. And now for items of consideration, ID 26-296, community process for renaming of the Cesar Chavez Library and Cesar Chavez Park. And we now will receive a report from our Director Lundquist.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair and members of the Commission. The item before you tonight is a community process for renaming the Cesar Chavez Library and Cesar Chavez Park. As you are aware and outlined in the staff report, the New York Times published a story in March outlining accusations of sexual abuse involving Cesar Chavez. Following these accusations, many local jurisdictions, school districts, and college campuses began to rename facilities that were named after Cesar Chavez. At the City Council meeting of April 7th, the mayor made a public statement acknowledging these accusations and referred the matter to this commission to establish and oversee a community process to consider the renaming of both the Cesar Chavez Library and the Cesar Chavez Park, and bring back recommendations to the City Council for consideration. Just by way of a little background, the Santa Lucia Library and Hebron Community Park were renamed in honor of Cesar Chavez in June of 1993, following his death in April of that year. Since both of the facilities had previous names, the commission could recommend returning them to their original names. If the commission recommends renaming, the city's established naming policy would be followed, and we've identified or developed a timeline for you to consider as well that was outlined in your report. That includes a call for nominations, which could take place in late June through July, review of nominations in August, a LCS commission review in September, followed by potential council adoption in either October or November. At this time, staff asks for your feedback on whether or not these two facilities should be named, and if so, do you recommend that they change back to their original names, or do you recommend the city initiate a community naming process? That concludes my report at this time. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, we now received a report from our director, Director Lundquist. Any comments or questions from our commissioners? And we'll start from my right.
Oh. I was just curious what the previous names were. Are they?
So the previous names, the library was the Santa Lucia Library, and the park was Hebron Community Park.
Okay, I did see that one there. Thank you.
To my left, Commissioner Victor Trujillo.
Yes, I have some comments. So, well, for one, I appreciate this item being agendized because I certainly have some feedback on the naming of the facilities and how the process should occur. So for me, this process should be threefold. One, the first part should be whether the city should begin a formal renaming process. And for me, the answer is yes. What naming options should be considered? I think there are different sorts of options we consider. Names that can maybe be based on the geographic location of the library or parks, naming it after historical figures within the city's history, reverting back to the original name, and or maybe possibly allowing some sort of indigenous name with, of course, consultation from our indigenous community. As far as public engagement, I think it should occur before the commission can actually make a recommendation. So as far as naming options to consider, I think one option would be, one option should be to retain the existing names. I understand that there are different points of views out there, and some might not want to change the name, and I get that point of view. So that should be option number one. Another option would be to restore the original facility's name. So for example, the library could be Santa Lucia Library, and for the park, it could be Hebron Community Park or Hebron Heights Community Park. Option three, it could be on the a neighborhood-based name. Some options that could be on the table could be East Salinas Library, Williams Road Library, Santa Lucia Community Library, East Salinas Community Library. For the park options, it could be Madeira Avenue Park, Hebron Heights Park, East Salinas Community Park, Eastside Community Park. Option 4 could be a broader community history names. I don't want to, I think what Cesar Chavez did, the effort that he did should not be, forgotten. And so based on that, some library options could be maybe Farm Worker Heritage Library, Chicano Cultural Center Library, Salinas Valley Community Library, Community Heritage Library, East Salinas Heritage Library. For park options, it could be Farm Worker Heritage Park, Salinas Valley Heritage Park, Community Heritage Park, East Salinas Heritage Park, maybe Unity Park. Option 5, something valley-based names. So these are names that are short in nature. So they could be maybe Community Learning Library, Justice and Learning Library, Salinas Community Library, something as simple as that. Opportunity Library. Park options could be Unity Park, Community Park, Hope Park, Opportunity Park. And option number 6 would be something with respect to the indigenous community, of course, only with consultation. Kind of have a workflow here. So I think there should be a formal renaming process. There should be naming categories to be included, a public engagement plan, possibly a need for an ad hoc subcommittee if desired. However, that's doesn't need to be formed. Public engagement and outreach. I agree it could be between late June and July, so staff can conduct broad bilingual outreach, emphasis on bilingual, to gather community input and name suggestions. So this could be a public nomination form online and paper. It could be bilingual surveys. It could be pop-up outreach at the library, at the park, at the recreational center, at community events. It could be in a form of community listening sessions at the library, at the park. It could be engaging with their youth and family engagements. I know that the city of Salinas, through its libraries, host a myriad of events. So maybe that could be an event that they can facilitate at the library. As far as stakeholder outreach, it should be the residents. It should be the users of the libraries and the parks. It should be organizations within their community. It should be historians within their community, and possibly tribal representatives. With this, I think there should be some sort of public education fact sheet. So we kind of want to provide our community with some sort of education as to why we're doing this, and not just have a form that lists different sorts of naming of options. So yeah, so this could happen between late June and July. Then from there, staff can analyze and summarize all public input received in August. So staff compiles all input and prepares a report that includes all names nominated, summary of public feedback and themes, an evaluation matrix. I think there should be a clear evaluation criteria on how these names are going to be evaluated once they've been nominated by staff. So there should be a very clear, objective evaluation criteria that could include consistency within city naming policy, historical cultural significance, geographic neighborhood relevance, relationship to facility purpose, community support, clarity and ease of public use, avoidance of duplication, fiscal and signage impact, long-term appropriateness. We don't want to name it after another individual in the community and later learn that they also misbehaved and go about this again. And then names that will, under that evaluation criteria, names that will unite rather than divide the community. So, policy review. I think in that same staff analysis and summary, there should be a fiscal impact. I think we should, this commission, before making a recommendation to the city council, should know the actual fiscal impact to the signage and other costs related to the naming of the park. And then lastly, staff provide a recommended short list of options. In September, I think the commission should review and discuss the findings, the staff findings on the names. So commission can review staff report, public input again. I want to really make this, I don't want to rush the process. I want this process to be open to anybody, and there be many ways that the public can make their input. And then, so in the commission review and discussion of the names, this could be an ad hoc, or this could be just agendized in this commission. I don't really think we need an ad hoc. And then in October, I think at that point, once we flushed the list of options, we can then make a recommendation. It could be either one preferred name, it could be a ranked list of names, and that is all I have so far.
And now, Yolanda Cervantes?
The only comment I have is I think we should definitely let the community decide what their name of preference is, and I think we can do that through community engagement, meetings, surveys, especially with the surrounding neighborhoods, getting their feedback as what their preference is. That's my only comment.
Thank you. Commissioner Joey Martinez?
Yeah, I am of the same sentiment. We clearly have it written down here what the procedure is going to be. And yeah, the community will definitely come up with something that they're comfortable with in naming of city property. A couple of things I have heard people mention, like maybe Dolores Huerta, his name could be thrown in there. But also, on me personally would probably throw another name out there. I would say maybe Joe Gunter, ex-mayor of Salinas. Name could also be thrown in there. But also, I respect what Commissioner Tafoya said about just names, posthumous names in general. Maybe not having to go back and rehash this in another decade or two. Who knows? So yeah, definitely the community is where I would point the direction to this for, and following of this format, I agree with. That's all my comment.
Thank you, Commissioner Martinez. And as far as myself, I actually talked to a few people in the community, and no one really feels strongly about a name they really like, but I'm thinking through this, and I'm just hopeful that our community could be hopefully respectful in selecting a name. And when I think about the name of any institution or building or anything, it should benefit the community, the people that use it, like the family, the children, because the library is a learning center. And I was thinking also, we'll present it to our commissioner today, and I had talked to our director, and she says that there is a process that we have to go through, so I'll let her turn this time over to her to tell us more about it. But before that, do we have any comments from the community? Public comments?
So good evening, board. Well, my comment is that it's going to be pretty, I'm not going to say confusing, but it's going to be involved to change the name if you want to have community engagement. And the window of time that I'm hearing is pretty soon, within like 2 to 6 months. And I just want to say realistically, getting community engagement in that short of period of time isn't really very realistic. But the other comment that I want to make is I think that you need to be consistent with the rest of the structures that are named after Cesar Chavez. I think there's a school here in Salinas named after him. And also, I know that there's a plaque in front of the old jail that names him. Anyway, I don't know how many times he's named in structures and in commemorative plaques, but it needs to be consistent. You can't just say, well, for the library and the park, we're going to change it, but we're not going to change it for all those other places. I have other thoughts on it, but I think my time's probably up on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments?
Good evening, Commissioners. I just wanted to voice support for the renaming process of both the library and the park. My name is Magnolia Coito. I'm an adult services librarian with Salinas Public Libraries. And so I just also want to share that I would love to be involved in any way and just helping hear out the community and help with that outreach in any way possible. So thank you for the suggestions there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other public comments? If not, I'll turn this time to our director.
Sure, thank you, Chair Fong. I just want to make sure the commission is aware that I am familiar with the LaSalle Union School District that is going through a process of some sort with regard to the Cesar Chavez Elementary School. I don't know where exactly they're at in that process. But as much as we would like to be consistent with naming across city facilities or any buildings within the city of Salinas only has jurisdiction over our own 2 facilities, which would be the Cesar Chavez Library and the park. And that's why tonight that's the conversation. I guess what I'd like to do is make sure what I'm hearing from the commission so far is that there is a sense that you would like to go through a renaming process. Am I hearing that correctly? Okay. So with that, I think Commissioner Tafoya has a great work plan. I would say that this timeline, in my opinion, isn't sufficient for that level of engagement. And so I think we need to look at that a little bit more. What I would ask is, and we can certainly refine this timeline. What I would ask is that you do now identify a subcommittee that would work with staff to work through a process and a timeline and be part of the review of nominations going forward. So that would be my ask tonight, is that you establish a subcommittee. A subcommittee would be of 3 members of the commission. We would need to make sure that whoever is willing to serve on that commission, that you're available to attend meetings with staff at whatever interval is necessary in order to keep this process moving forward.
I have a question on that. What are the advantages to the subcommittee, forming this subcommittee, as opposed to keeping those discussions at this commission level, and then maybe, if possible, holding additional special meetings if we need to? Because I feel like if we go down that path of the special committee, ad hoc committee, given our past experience with that, it hasn't really been too successful. And so I'm just worried that if we go down that path, we're not going to get it done by the end of the year.
So, I mean, I think the benefit that I see to having a subcommittee is you have a very focused group of individuals who are committed to working through this process. You are all aware that sometimes we also have had struggles with quorums. And so I would hate to not be able to move anything forward for lack of quorum or those kinds of things. And I would say that this subcommittee would not work in a total vacuum, because we could provide updates and where we're at in the process each month in our meetings. But then ultimately, the subcommittee would make a recommendation to this body, and that would be another opportunity for the full commission to weigh in on kind of where the commission or the subcommittee is at. Are you in agreement with, the recommendation? I also think it would be helpful to have a subcommittee to help go through nominations, as opposed to just that being staff. Because we've heard from many of you and our residents as well about having community involved. And so we certainly want to make sure that you're engaged through that process as you are members of our community and appointed by your city council members. So that's my opinion in terms of the benefit of having a subcommittee.
I agree with you, Director Lundquist, and I see what Commissioner Tafoya is saying about the past with subcommittees, but what I see about this one, and you mentioned working with city staff, which is definitely the key to adhering to a subcommittee process. I really like that aspect of it, is that we have guidance from city staff, so that we're not just like left to ourselves. So I hear what you said, Commissioner Tafoya, but I also see the benefit of us opening the dialogue with city staff, because those conversations could go a little deeper and a little bit longer as it's needed in something of this caliber.
So at this time, can I have our commissioner, if you're really interested in being on this committee, let us know.
I am interested in
I'm
being on this
interested as
committee.
well, yeah.
So Commissioner, you did too. And would either of you ladies want to be on the commission or the committee?
I can be on the committee.
You want to be, okay, so we have three. And you could be an alternate.
Yeah, maybe an alternate, yes.
Okay.
And
then-
so in order to meet quorum, there would be at a minimum, we need 2 subcommittee members to actually hold these meetings, correct? Or would all 3 need to be present?
No, not all 3 would need to be present, but I just want to stress the importance of, if you're going to participate in the committee, that we do need your commitment, so that we have as many voices at the table as we can. So I'm hearing Commissioner Tafoya, Commissioner Martinez, and Commissioner Castillo.
Yes,
So we would need a motion.
and Commissioner Cervantes as alternate, if that's okay.
You can only have 3 people named to the
Those 3 are
subcommittee.
fine.
You're good.
I'm good.
Okay.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay,
So if we could have a motion to appoint these 3 commissioners to the subcommittee?
I'd like
please.
to motion that all 3 named commissioners be appointed to a subcommittee for renaming of the community property.
I second that motion.
okay, we have a second. Now we take the vote.
On the motion to establish a subcommittee with 3 commissioners, Commissioner Martinez, Commissioner Tafoya, and
Yes.
Commissioner Castillo, please respond yes or no. Commissioner Tafoya,
Yes.
Commissioner Martinez,
Yes.
Commissioner Cervantes,
Yes.
Commissioner Castillo, Commissioner Fong,
Yes.
motion passed.
Okay, so now we come to, is there a motion to consider whether or not to rename the Cesar Chavez Library Cesar Chavez Park?
We've already done what we need to do at this point. Yeah, because the sentiment is we'd like to go through a renaming process. We have our subcommittee established.
Okay, so we're done there now. We'll go to our commissioner's report. And to my right, Mr.
I have no updates right now. Thank you.
Commissioner Victor Sotomayor.
Yes, so I just want to briefly know, I'd recently followed up with the mayor regarding the appointment of a new District 1 commissioner. Filling that seat is important to meeting quorums and overall effectiveness of this commission. So he was very responsive, responded within 24 hours, so I was pretty impressed. And so hopefully we'll see somebody sitting on that seat because it's been over a year and we haven't, almost close to a year, and there hasn't been anybody in that seat. And we're a population of 160,000 individuals, and in my opinion, that's not acceptable. Okay. Now, also, I would want to reinstate a few prior requests that I've made in the past, and for one, it would be updates on the Sherwood Improvement Project, see the schematics and just, review and discuss within the commission what's going on, and as well as O'Gablin Park Improvement Project. Those two projects that I've requested in the past, we haven't seen them yet, and so whenever it's possible, just if we can look at what's going on with those projects. Second, I would like to share some information about Hijos del Sol at Ensign Community Park Mural Project. So the commission and the public is aware that of this community effort and have the opportunity to participate. So the project includes community painting days at Ensign Park, where residents of all ages can help paint the mural and contribute to the public art project that celebrates community identity and culture. The kickoff event is scheduled for June 13, so this is going to be this Saturday, I believe, with additional painting days continuing through June and July. I encourage, people to attend these painting days. And third, I want to emphasize that once the library expanded hours survey is complete, I would like to see the results be brought back to this commission for review. And lastly, I was looking over, I guess you could say, the bylaws or commission role under the Salinas Municipal Code, and under the code section 3-0.1-0.3 subsection C. This gives the commission a role on preparing before the beginning of each fiscal year a program of public improvement deemed necessary or desirable for the libraries and recreational park development. So the way I understand it is that, during each budget season, the list of priorities for that year, upcoming fiscal year, we should get maybe some input on it, and I think that would be beneficial as to like what priorities should be included in that. And with that, I'll conclude my comments.
Thank you. Now, Commissioner Yolanda Cervantes.
I just want to say that I want to commend the students who are participating in the Amor Salinas camp. I've seen the photos. They're beautifying El Dorado Park, so I enjoy seeing those photos. I'm hoping that maybe they also beautified the bathroom as well, but I see a lot of great work there. So just wanted to commend them.
Thank you. Commissioner Joey Martinez.
Yeah, I just want to comment on District 3 on our downtown area. It's always just getting better and better, and just day by day, week by week. There's lots of new restaurants. There's lots of new activities. There's lots of movement here in the downtown area, and every single year it just surprises me, and I love it so much. We have lost a couple of things. Sorry to see some of the establishments go, but we have new things. You know, I just went to Sweet Reba's today and got some of their sweets, and it's just we've been waiting so long for that place to open. It's just I don't know. It's just such a treat to be downtown these days, and like I said, every year downtown is just getting bigger and brighter, and being more of the shining star that Salinas that we want it to be.
Thank you, Commissioner Martinez. And I just wanted to say that summer's here, and there's a lot of new activities around our community, and I know there's a lot of new restaurants opening up too, so that's a good thing. So everybody just enjoy the summer. And now I'll turn this time to our Commissioner Nyquist.
Thank you. Just a few items. So we held our department summer kickoff event this past Saturday at Ensign Community Park, had a great turnout. It was an opportunity for residents to hear about the great library programs, the great recreation programs that are going on for the summer, but then also participate in a number of activities. So I really want to extend my appreciation to Ernesto Lizaola and Vivian Salinas for really spearheading the planning and coordination of that event. Our summer programs are in full swing. At all of the rec centers, we have a variety of sports camps going on. Commissioner Cervantes referenced our More Salinas camp. We have a couple of those this summer. We'll be doing our Youth and Government Institute in July as well, and most of those programs are all full. The library is always doing phenomenal things. Summer reading is underway both for adults and children, so I would encourage you with youth, children, and or yourselves, if you'd like to participate in the Summer Reading Challenge, please visit the website. Closter Park has reached substantial completion, and we're now in the 120-day maintenance period. So we're looking at a opening likely end of August, early September. So as we get closer, you'll certainly learn more about that. And then you may be aware that the City Council did have a budget hearing a few weeks back, and they will be considering the biannual fiscal year 26, 27, and 27, 28 budget this coming Tuesday. So I would encourage you to tune in. You can certainly attend the meeting in person on Zoom, or also watch through Channel 25. And those are all my updates for now. Thank you.
Okay. And I think we only have one more item for next meeting. Take a roll for next meeting.
The next regular meeting of the Library and Community Services Commission is scheduled for Wednesday, July 8th at 6 p.m. At this time, I will call the roll. Please respond yes if you plan to attend this meeting, or no if you will be unable to attend. Commissioner Tafoya?
Yes.
Commissioner Martinez?
Unsure. Is that an acceptable response?
Commissioner Cervantes?
Yes.
Commissioner Gutierrez Garcia? Commissioner Castillo? Commissioner Fong?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that concludes our meeting tonight. And do I hear a motion to adjourn our meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Thank you, everyone, for attending tonight's meeting.